What's the best job for a lazy person? A guy on the surveying crew has the job of watching a surveying GPS unit all day. He gets dropped off with the unit, sets it up, and sits there and makes sure it doesn't get stolen and that the blue light is still on. That's all he does every day, day after day. He thinks his job is the greatest thing ever. A lot of it-related office jobs at big companies involve a lot of downtime for one reason or another, where you're just sitting around waiting for work to come in. Just be careful what you wish for. I did a 6-month work placement at a place doing QC on medical data entry. It was as riveting as it sounds, and due to poor management there were massive stretches of time, like more than a solid week, where there was nothing for us to do. We were literally begging for work because we were so ducking bored. If someone had asked me to start hoovering the carpets, I would have jumped at the chance. Creative jobs like the video games and special effects industries are major exceptions. I worked as a security guard for a trucking company on the weekends. The rest of the company conveniently didn't work weekends, so I had the whole place to myself. I worked 12-hour days and walked around a small wing of the property every hour and documented anything that was out of the ordinary. Almost nothing was ever out of the ordinary. Other than that, I didn't do anything. It was actually really boring because the guardhouse was outside of the Wi-Fi area, so I blew through my phone data really fast. To cure the boredom and ease my phone bill, I bought a portable DVD player and watched every DVD I had. Security guard. Source: been on Reddit the whole shift. Edit: now on my next night shift, and so many notifications and even 2 golds just to answer a few questions. It's a shipyard facility. During the day it's checking out bags and cars coming in and out, giving temporary passes and few phone calls. Night shift. What can I say? Reddit, cable TV or Heroes 3 on my shitty old laptop. Work schedule: day shift, night shift, then 2 days off. The person that sit on a chair in the museum. They just sit there in one of the most quiet places I visit. And when a person stands too close to one in artwork, they just cough a little and tell you to step back. I'm a backstage doorman at a Broadway theater. I sit around watching Netflix and Hulu and all that shit all day. If I'm feeling ambitious, I'll read a book or write some stand-up material. It's a pretty sweet gig and perfect for the laziest of people. Back in college, I was a computer lab monitor. I just had to sit in the lab and once every hour count the number of people there. If I was opening or closing the lab, there was about 15 minutes of work for that. But otherwise I could just surf the web or do my homework. Copy editor. You can pretty much work out of your own home and be a professional grammar Nazi. Pay as men, but it's really not bad once you build up a client base, since you can literally sit on your ass for hours. If your grasp on the language is strong. Edit: I should probably clarify, I do this part-time after I get home from my main office job. I consider it lazy because I can sit in my own home office and dedicate what time I wish to it, and it requires no specialized equipment besides a laptop. I used to go to the factory where they make giant rotating machinery for power plant generators. It would take a week or more to machine these giant discs, and the machinist just sat there watching this giant computer operated machine do all the work. If an error popped up, the machine would stop, sound an alarm on the computer, and the machinist would pick up the phone and call an engineer to come fix it. Also, they didn't do any of the removal or setup. That was done by a team of engineers and transport folks. $30/HR. I love that you asked what job is for lazy people rather than go find it. True laziness. Find a remote data entry job and outsource it to someone who will do it for cheaper. Let them do your job and just collect the difference. I'm an analyst. I taught myself a bunch of stuff and spent a bunch of time automating things because I'm too lazy to do them every day/week/month. My job: I make the ballistic fiber that goes in bulletproof vests. I basically just watch movies and play on my phone all day long while the machine runs. As long as everything goes smoothly, I have around 5 minutes of work to do every hour and a half whenever the machine is ready to run new packages. and I'm on break half of the day too because we do 1 hour on the floor, then swap out with our relief for an hour. So every other hour you're on break for an hour. And I have a 2-hour lunch. I make $30, $23 an hour and all the overtime I want. I worked at a pool the summer after my senior year of high school. I wasn't a lifeguard. I just had to have a person show me their Navy card to get in the pool, and I had to check the pH levels of the pool at the end of every day. Only had to text my boss. Could be on my phone the whole day. Chilled with my then girlfriend and ate food. Didn't even have to clock out for lunch and got an extra half an hour every day. The downside was working in the hot sun. You'd be under an umbrella, but the job could get boring. Edit. I should also add most of my friends were Navy kids whose mothers or fathers were working, so I would be able to chill with them all day too because it was their neighborhood. All in all, pretty good gig. If you're lazy, edit too. Also, one time me and my friends were there and there was a live skunk in the pool filter. He was trying to swim, so we took a pool net and gently pushed him into it and let him down in the grass outside. He was just laying on his back panting frantically, then he jumps up and runs in the woods. I have it on film on my old iPhone. Edit 3. Wow. 6k more people like this job than I thought. Guys, you really don't want to work at a pool, mayo. Corporate job. They typically give you work they think will take a week. It does. You're just slowly trotting through it in between useless meetings and Facebook. Truck driving. And not in a bad way. I drove a semi for a few years after the military, and it is by far the best job for low energy introverts. You get paid to do nothing other than stare out a window and listen to music/podcast/radio. You have to get out every now and then for work, but you won't be doing any back-breaking work, and it won't be longer than 10 to 15 minutes at most. Best job if you like to be alone and not really have to do anything. Plus it pays really well. Financial aid officer at a college/university. Those are indeed the slowest, laziest, and inept people there ever were. I own a out-of-home phone repair business. I repair maybe 2 to 3 phones a day. Takes roughly about 30 minutes each. Then I either play games or relax in bed the rest of the day, and that keeps me going well. Hurricane debris cleanup crew safety monitor. This won't apply to you unless you live in a place where you are hit by hurricanes at least once a year and don't minding working 12-hour days, 7 days a week. I promise you that 10 of those 12 hours per day will be spent sitting there doing nothing, playing games on your phone. If the battery lasts long enough, I switched to crossword puzzles to try and save my battery. Keep in mind this job only exists immediately after a hurricane hits, and then for about 4 to 5 months afterwards, depending on the strength of the hurricane. You will get time and a half on the final 44 hours of the week, so you essentially get paid for the work of someone who has 2 decent entry-level jobs without actually performing anywhere near that amount of work. Automation design. Been doing it for 26 years and my laziness has advanced my career more than anything else. I / hate doing anything twice, so if I have to do it once, I do it in a manner that the next time it's needed it handles itself. Lifeguard at the Olympics. I'm currently working as a companion for rich old folks with early stage dementia. Their kids feel guilty for not spending time with them, so they pay me too much to go to the old folks home every day, hang out, drive their fancy cars, and go out for lunch. Most don't wake up till after midday, so I do whatever I want all morning. My old guy now likes to go to this expensive restaurant every day for lunch, full on 3 courses with a bottle of wine, which to be honest has become a bit much for me. Every few days I send the kids a happy smiley pic of the old timer having a good time and they get the warm fuzzies. I'll drive the Jag or Rolls, get them a paper, but don't do any personal care at all. It's a sweet gig. I'm sure this will likely be lost in the other awesome jobs, but I once had a job that required maybe 10 minutes of work a day. Essentially, it was my job to rent people mobility scooters. I'd sit in a small room surrounded by different colored scooters and I'd just read or watch movies with my feet up, because we had maybe 2 to 4 customers a day. If a person came in for a scooter, I'd ask for their name and postcode, write it down on a piece of paper, and give them the keys. When they came back I would, usually an hour or 2 later, I charge the scooter by just plugging it in. That's all. The entire job. The work really slowed when the local government started charging for the formerly free service. Then I'd maybe see 3 people a week. And they paid me £8 per hour. Security guard on night shift cinema projectionist. My job, I'm basically ignored by everyone and wasting all my day on Reddit. I'm starting to wonder how long it will last. Where do you work and how much do you get paid? I'm working for a plumbing contractor as a project manager, but 95% of stuff is managed on site, so they don't need me most of the time. I have this huge 12-foot x 14 office with multiple monitors and nobody can see or want to know what I do. So I wait for the phone calls and place some orders here and there and Reddit all day. The salary is $65k per year CAD. Toll booth worker.